What's up, guys? We're coming at you a little bit early for Thursday night football. We've got 4 picks for you as usual for the single game slates. The board just updated, so we were thinking about putting this video out a little bit later because it was pretty slim pickings to start. And then right as we were discussing whether or not we should, they updated the board and gave us some more options here. If you are new to our channel, this is our picks show. We also have a fantasy football show. Definitely subscribe if you're not a part of the subscribers yet. I think we've actually got a decent amount of viewers that subscribe, though. I think it's like over 50%, so pretty solid there. But yeah, we post to our community section too, and kind of let you know what our schedule is going to be. Getting this video out a little early, so make sure you're subscribed. If you have any fantasy football questions or questions about props in general, just hit us up in the comments. We get back to everybody. Give us a like the video. It's the start of fall. It's starting to get beautiful out. We've got basketball starting soon. So we're just really excited to get this getting a little bit crazy here in a little less than a week, dropping picks videos every night. So let's quickly talk about that last game because it did not go well for my picks. I've got 2 things that I learned from that. Well, one of them isn't really something I learned. It's just that Tyler Bass could not, and Greg Zuerlein could not kick in that wind, and it like didn't look that bad. And then as soon as Bass, that first miss, I was like, what the, like, I was thinking we're going to cash this quick. I think he ended up going for like 5 kicking points. We took him over 7.5, but they were struggling on both sides, just actually getting kicks off because the wind was like, there was gusts, they said up to like 15 to 20 miles an hour. So that kind of blindsided us a little bit. I hadn't heard anything about that. So my bad on not realizing the wind was actually kind of crazy that night. And then the thing we learned is, we were talking about Brees, we were talking about the new coaching regime, and are they going to utilize this amazing athlete, elite running back like they should? And they did. And for fantasy, Braylon Allen is going to be tanking. If that's any indication, and now they've got Devontae Adams. So if that's any indication of what the future is going to look like, Braylon Allen's not going to be getting that much usage. So we might be seeing his lines come down quite a bit. It's unfortunate because he's super talented, but at the same time, they need to be utilizing Brees Hall. So anyways, that 10.5 line, he only had two targets, and they were just like last minute, like Rodgers, like flinging the ball to the back of his head, not coming close. So both of mine did not cash. You had your Brees play hit, right? You took the fantasy score?
Yes, Brees. So he cashed his. He went for 21.9 fantasy score. He had a monster day. Yeah. 5 receptions for 56 receiving yards, 113 rushing yards. Dude went absolutely crazy. He actually didn't score. And I said if he did score, this was going to cash, but my God, he did it all. So, and my other play was Josh Allen for over. We got the line at 242.5 for his passing and rushing yards. This one was crazy. He got so close. He really didn't run the ball a lot. He had 9 carries, but none of it was meaningful. And a lot of the carries honestly were him just getting back to the line of scrimmage. So it was a very rocky rushing game for him, but he ended up getting to 233. So it was really, really close. Brees had no problem, but Josh Allen only had 19 completions for 25 attempts through the air. Really close on that one, but just not quite.
Yeah, and when we made these picks, we were under the impression that James Cook had a legitimate chance to play. Mm-hmm. And then, so with him being out, a lot of those passing yards from Allen are typically just like dump offs to James Cook, him having the opportunity to, take it pretty deep. But like, all that being said, if we would have waited a little bit longer to put that video out with that news, we in the Discord were able to jump on some Ty Johnson props, some Ray Davis props. We got those like right before the news dropped. We were kind of like monitoring it. But
yeah, to be fair, that news did drop like 2 hours before the game though. So
yeah, it was kind of late.
Yeah.
So all right, let's get into these. Before we do, if you haven't signed up for Underdog yet, it's still Boosttober, so they're dropping boost tokens every day of October. They've got all sorts of alt lines and promos. They're killing it with discounts and whatnot. So Underdog has been awesome. If you haven't signed up for Underdog yet, use code BACKDOOR. You'll get up to $1,000 in bonus cash for signing up and making your first deposit. Plus, you'll get a free pick just for signing up. They're going to help you cash your first slip. Also, we're not talking about it tonight, but we got to talk about streaks soon, because streaks that Underdog has, it's been up there for a little while, but we've just been starting to get into them a little bit more in the Discord, and that's going to be a lot of fun. We'll compile more information if you're unfamiliar with streaks yet, but it's essentially prop plays where you can just keep stacking week after week, game after game, and like turn that into up to 1000x. It's really fun. We'll give you a breakdown here pretty soon about it. But yeah, you can go through the link in the description, or you can just use code BACKDOOR when you are signing up, and they'll give you that up to 1,000 in bonus cash and the free pick. And then we're also partnered with Sleeper. So Sleeper Picks, they've also been improving their platform quite a bit. So if you guys haven't signed up for Sleeper Picks yet, use code BACKDOORFS. You'll get 100% deposit match up to $100. And they've got discounts going every day now as well. All right, so let's break into these picks. Foster Moreau, I guess we hadn't talked about our picks yet, had we?
No.
Or did we? Okay. I was ready to break down, but all right, so I'm taking Foster Moreau over 8.5 receiving yards. I'm getting that on both platforms, Underdog and Prize Picks. And then I'm taking Devon Valet over 7.5 fantasy score on Prize Picks and over 30.5 receiving yards on Underdog, because Underdog does not have the fantasy score posted yet. What are you getting into, Jordy?
Yeah, I'm taking Will Lutz for over 1.5 field goals made, and I'm getting that on both platforms. And then on Prize Picks, I'm taking Spencer Rattler's fantasy score at 13, and they didn't have it yet. They might now, but they didn't have his fantasy score over on the Underdog, so I was taking his passing yards. Okay, so they do have the fantasy score now at 13.15, so I would go with that. But the passing yards, if the fantasy score does get bumped, I do like the passing yards at 184.5, so there is also that, but I do like the fantasy score.
Yeah, let me I'm gonna take a look at, gosh dang it, I'm gonna take a look and see if Valet's fantasy score is up here yet. Nope. I still like the receiving yards though. I like it a lot, and I'll break all that down for you guys here in just a minute. Let's start with Foster Moreau though. Not Juwan Johnson. My bad. I thought about taking Juwan. His looks good too, but I gotta go with Foster here, because he can get this done on one catch potentially, and I think he'll get at least 2 catches, so I really like it. So the receiving yards at 8.5, he just popped off for 54 in that last game against Tampa Bay. I believe he got a touchdown in that as well. But Tampa Bay, not Tampa Bay, Denver, first of all, they're probably going to be without Patrick Surtain, so that is going to be a little bit easier for the pass catchers if he's out. They're 5th in receiving yards allowed, but that's with the best cornerback in the league playing. So if he's out, it's a totally different story. And but to tight ends, it's a little bit softer as far as the receiving yards go. They're 17th in receiving yards allowed. I don't want to bounce around too much, but I just wanted to mention that it's a 36.5 point over under. Broncos favored by 2.5 playing in New Orleans. So we're not looking at a really high scoring game here. But we've got a lot of wide receivers that are questionable for this game, I believe. Let me just double check. We know Rattler is going to be starting. Taysom Hill is doubtful officially. That's even better for this Foster Moreau play. We have Alvin Kamara questionable with a hand injury still, looking like he's probably going to play. Chris Olave, as of an hour ago, officially ruled out. Rashid Shaheed, as of an hour ago, officially ruled out. So Foster Moreau at 8.5 receiving yards sounds really juicy to me. And then let me just show you the receptions matchup real quick. 26th in receptions allowed to tight ends. So I think that he and Juwan Johnson, I like both of those plays. Honestly, most of these pass catchers, their lines are really low, and we've got both of their best wide receivers out. We've got maybe Kamara, like it's a hand issue, so he might not be catching the ball as much. So I'm all over this. He's got back-to-back games with 2 receptions, but 8.5 receiving yards seems super doable to me. So yeah, don't need to really say too much more about that. I want to get into this Broncos play because Sean Payton came out and said that he's going to be starting at this point to start really developing these rookies because he really believes in them. He wants Valet more involved. He wants Troy Franklin more involved, and he wants Audric Estime more involved. We were looking at Javonte Williams potentially, but he hasn't looked good this year. And Sean Payton, as of yesterday, said that he wants Estime more involved. So Estime has a chance to take over this backfield because Javonte has done nothing to secure that. And Estime has been on injured reserve, but he's another Sean Payton guy that Sean Payton really liked a lot. He wasn't super fast in his 40 time, but he's a real big physical back with decent hands. So that has nothing to do with Valet, but my point is he wants to see, he said that you can't just wait and see what you've got with the situation they're in now. He wants to get these rookies experience and get them developed, get them comfortable, get them confident. So look for an uptick on all of these guys that are rookies. And then Valet has actually done great. He played his first game. He had 8 targets, went for 8 receptions, and he's a big dude. I think he's 6'5", if I'm not mistaken. We've talked about him before. He's kind of could fit that Michael Thomas type archetype for Sean Payton's offense, which he loves. I think Cortland Sutton will have a good game as well, but he's openly talking about getting these guys more involved. So I liked his receptions too, but I ended up going to the full fantasy score because full point PPR on Prize Picks. I think he'll have at least 4 receptions, and then that's 4 points already. And I believe this was at 7.5 fantasy score. So if he happens to get in the end zone, we're really in good shape. We'll cash it right there on just 1 catch and a touchdown pretty much. But the receptions allowed, the matchup's great. 27th in receptions allowed. And if we take a look at the receiving yards, 28th in receiving yards allowed to wide receivers. So we see he's cleared this line in both of the games he's played. So yeah, he played his first game. He did great. 8 targets, 8 receptions. And then I think he hurt his foot or something and he was out for a little while. And then so they were kind of just keeping him off the field for a couple of weeks. But his first game back, he went for 78 yards. And so all the indicators are pointing in the right direction for this play. So we covered the receiving yards for Underdog. We covered the fantasy score. Now, if that changes, and by the time you're watching this, if Valet's fantasy score is on Underdog and it's maybe in the 6-ish range, I like that too. But since we're putting this out early, we don't know exactly what will be available by the time some people will be watching this the day of the game. But I like all of these lines. I would take Valet all the way up to 34, 35 yards. I think this is too low right now. And then Foster Moreau, if this ends up getting bumped, I like this probably all the way up to 11.5, 12, because with the situation with the wide receivers being out and the soft matchup and Taysom Hill being ruled out, there's all of their studs are out. So I like both of these plays. Sorry, it's been a little bit sloppy with my presentation. There's just so much to talk about with the coach speak and everything. So Daily Grind has this favor to go under 8.5 receiving yards. Go with your gut. I'm not trying to sound like overly confident. I've been super confident about plays in the past and got them dead wrong. So you got to go with your gut with these plays. But this is what I'm seeing. But the optimizer has it at 50.25% odds to hit the under. So I don't know. I disagree. I think that the narrative is strong here for him to get this done. And like we said, 8.5, he can get that done on one catch potentially. So yeah, minus 119, and all the platforms that have this at 8.5 are kind of favoring it to go under just slightly. It's pretty much a 50-50 shot. And then for the Valet play, on Prize Picks, they've got his fantasy score favored to go under as well. I'm still taking it. This makes sense to me. So they have it at a 50.98% odds to hit the under. Yeah, it's probably because Prize Picks has it relatively high compared to some of these other platforms like FanDuel, DraftKings. It's like just a little bit higher than them. BetMGM has it at 6.7. But I'm taking the over there. And then let's see, did I pull up the receiving yards? Okay, yeah. So the receiving yards, they have favored to go over, 50.41% odds to hit the over, minus 118. And yeah, gosh, some of these platforms have his receiving yards all the way up at 33.5, which I would still be comfortable taking the over personally. This kid just catches everything that's thrown his way. So I'm super hyped on this narrative with Sean Payton getting them more involved. If you guys want to check out this Daily Grind DFS optimizer, it's a really great tool to help you find plays and to also help you compare lines and just get extra information as far as the odds go, seeing what all these other platforms have these odds at, what they're setting the line at. That all tells you more about whether or not you want to take a play. They're a partner of ours, so if you guys want to check it out, just use code BACKDOOR at dgfantasy.com. They're going to give you 25% off of your subscription as long as you lock it in. So you can lock it in up to a year if you want. Lock it in for basketball. It's really killer for basketball, but you can lock it in for the rest of NFL, for all of basketball, up to a year. So dgfantasy.com, code BACKDOOR. There's a link in the description. And then if you want to check out this app Outlier, it's killer for just looking into the details, looking at the history, looking at injury reports, matchups. I love being able to see the matchups specifically. And I forgot to even pull this up, but I'll show you the fantasy score for Valet at 7.5. Both games he's played, he went for 11.9 and 11.8 with no touchdowns. So this kid he's someone who gets heavily targeted a lot. Bo Nix has been targeting him quite a bit when he's in the game. And I think his usage is just going to keep going up is what it sounds like. So, but yeah, if you guys want to check out Outlier, there's a link in the description. They'll just let you try it for a week. So if you go lock it in, you could use this for all of your Sunday picks and everything, all for free. All right, Jordy, I'll pass it over now.
All right. So yeah, to get into mine. Okay, so I've got Will Lutz for over 1.5 field goals made. Really liking this prop in this game. The Broncos have really been struggling to get into the end zone. That's kind of been like their biggest issue so far. So Will Lutz has been getting a lot of field goals. Over the last 6 games this season, he's gone over this 4 times. In the last game, they finally met their maker when it came to game script, and Patrick Surtain went out. And Patrick Surtain going out is a massive deal in this game, especially with a player like Spencer Rattler, who's young and he's going to be throwing to young receivers. So not having Surtain just blanketing one of his guys and moving all over the field making plays, it's going to help them a lot. He's questionable, but I'm pretty sure, he's got a concussion. There's no way he plays. So I'm sure he's absolutely out in this game. Yeah, I think Will Lutz, when it comes to this, I think the Broncos are going to be still struggling to get in the end zone. The Saints defense is really, really tough. They don't have really any gleaming injuries on their defensive side of the ball. So it's going to be a good matchup it's going to be a great matchup tonight. I think, it's going to be a little bit tough for the Broncos to get the ball moving. And getting into the end zone is going to be tough. Field goals allowed, the Saints are 29th in field goals allowed, and that's because they're really tough in red zone defense. So, people are scoring more field goals on them. So, really liking that. We're getting a value of 2.3. All we need is the 2. So, hopefully, Will Lutz can get that done for us. And Will Lutz is like a legendary kicker. So, if that guy gets his opportunities, I feel good about him making them, especially if they're in the Superdome. I don't think the wind will even be an issue. But, yeah, so going on to the next play. By the way, this is a 52.96% chance and a minus 135 to hit the over for Lutz. So really feeling good about the odds on this one. Moving on to Spencer Rattler. I'm taking his fantasy score in this game. I think he's going to be obviously a big part of what's going on because he is the quarterback. But the dude played really, really well in his first game. He played a really tough defense. He played against Tampa Bay. He was still able to get over this 13 line. He went for 14.42. I think he'll have an easier time in this game, especially with Surtain being out. Obviously, the Broncos defense is really good in not just the cornerback areas, but their linebackers are good. Their front line is pretty solid. So he's going to have a tough time tonight, but I like all of it. I like the rushing upside. He could run a touchdown in. He could throw for one. I just want everything, so the fantasy score to me makes the most sense. If we look at matchups here, obviously, 5th in passing yards, only giving up 170 passing yards a game. That's going to be different tonight because there's no Surtain. He's that good. I promise you, he's probably the best corner in the game. When it comes to rushing yards, the quarterbacks allowed, they're middle of the road, 12th to quarterbacks, giving up 17.8. Spencer Rattler's a pretty speedy dude. He's not like, 4.4 Lamar speed or anything, but the dude can definitely scramble. So I like him to run a little bit tonight as well. And there's always that option for him to, do like a quarterback keep and just run it into the end zone or something like that. And there's a lot of ways he can help cash his fantasy score. So really liking that. As long as he doesn't throw an absurd amount of picks or fumble it a bunch or something like that, I think we're going to be pretty safe on the 13 line here. It is favored to go over just ever slightly. Actually, now it's favored to go under. It was favored to go over a little bit ago at 13, but now it's favoring the under. 50.46% chance, but it's a minus 101. So I do like it to go over, so I'm going to be taking the over. Of course, if you guys don't like this, you don't have to take it. But yeah, I mean, I feel pretty good about this. If you look at one last thing, I want to show you the where is it at here? I guess they don't have the completions on here now, but the completion percentage is obviously a little tough against the Broncos too, but the completions percentage with the Broncos is actually a little bit lower than you would think because they allow more passes and they rally to the ball. So it's kind of not really like a pass funnel because they really don't give up a lot at all, but that is like one little soft spot for Rattler. But yeah, those are the two plays I like tonight. Not a whole lot to go over for mine. It's just a fantasy score and a field goal prop. So there's not a lot I can say about Will Lutz to hype him up other than he just needs to get those field goals done for us. But that's going to do it for my picks. If you guys want to check out Chalkboard is a lot of fun. They're another daily fantasy app, just like Prize Picks and Underdog and all these other ones. But they are the king of alt lines. So you could take say you think Foster Moreau is going to go way over 8.5 receiving yards. You're like, I think he's going to have a big game. He could go for 30. You could bump his lineup probably to like 14.5 or 13.5, and they'll give you a higher multiplier on that. And also they do that with like receptions and stuff like that. So really high, reception catches, for people like even Devon Villay, like that dude is just turning into a reception machine. So it's like if you like his receiving yards to go over, you could bump those up. So it's a lot of fun. They'll give you higher multipliers on anything you bump up like that. Or if you feel like they're gonna go like not for that much, you could bump it down and get a just a lower multiplier on it. They run a bunch of discounts every single day, so you compare your favorite play that you like on the board today with a discounted play. And if you sign up today using code backdoor at checkout, they'll give you a free play to help you cash your first slip. So they'll probably give you like a Bo Nix 0.5 passing yards, something super easy to help you cash. And it's a lot of fun over there. So definitely go check them out. Code backdoor, they'll match your first deposit up to $100 and give you that free play. So that's going to do it for me.
All right. Yeah. And I don't know if you mentioned it or not, but Will Lutz, it's a little bit of a revenge game too,
True.
for him. So he'll be, I think he'll be on point. Chalkboard, I just looked it up. Foster Moreau, they have two options. You can go from 8.5 receiving yards, which is already a 1.8x, so generous multiplier on that. If you go up to 9.5, they've got it at 1.89, so not really that big of a deal. But the highest one they have is only 19.5 yards. So if he gets 20 yards, they're going to give you a 3.63x. So you can make a fat slip using that one. And then they also have his receptions at 1.5 for a 2.6x. So, and then let's see, I was going to say they've got a Javonte Williams 2x for 46.5 rushing yards, which I don't know if I'm going to mess with Javonte like we were talking about, but they also have Bo Nix 120.5 passing yards. Spencer Rattler, they've got 21.5 rushing yards, which I love, at a 2x. So really killer over there. I'm definitely going to be getting into some. I'm on Chalkboard on single game slates. I like to just do real small slips, like maybe like a 4-man, and then I just go max cash. So it's a lot of fun. If you want to come join our Discord, come join us. We have a lot of fun in here. We just honestly, it's been getting super active. I love when the game's on. We all just are in there chatting like the whole time. Shout out Bobby. Bobby and I have been Bobby from our Discord and I've been chatting it up during the games. But we also pay very close attention and build out second half slips together. And we just cashed one two games ago. So if you want to come join us, there is a link in the description for Patreon. There's Bobby. Shout out Bobby. He had a good night the other night. Or is that today? Yesterday. Getting in some Taco Tuesday. But yeah, if you want to come join us, just sign up through Patreon. Once you sign up through Patreon, you just go into the settings, you go to the connected apps option from the menu bar, and then you just click on the Discord and connect. They'll log you in, and then you're good to go. You can come join us. Once you sign up too, sometimes people sign up and they have a little bit of trouble getting back to the Discord if it doesn't just send you there automatically. So if you have any issues, you can come back to this video, and then there's an actual link to the Discord and a link to Patreon. There was one more thing I was going to say, and I'm totally forgetting now. But follow us on our socials. Come follow us on Backdoor FS for X. Also me, Jordy, and Moose, our other analyst. All of our handles are in there. We're getting a lot more active with X, Instagram, TikTok. You can follow us on all of those. And we're going to start posting. We're working out a way where we can have our videos, and we can also maybe do like a bonus pick here and there for these slates, because it's a little bit easier to just hop on and make a quick video for social media than it is to put together a full video for YouTube. So make sure you're following us on all those social platforms, and have fun. I'm not used to it being so early. We put this video, I almost said have fun tonight, but yeah, guys, we're super hyped. We got basketball coming back real soon, but enjoy your Thursday night football. Hopefully this ends up being a surprisingly high scoring game. That'd be a lot of fun. But we appreciate you tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next video.
Good luck, guys.